Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and those who are new, welcome. Welcome to Create You, a place where I help you create your best you, inspire you to create your best art, and give you the courage to live your best life. And today is going to be a redraw of a picture I did last Inktober, Animatober, of Erza. And I wanted to redraw her for you guys and in front of you guys so you can see the old picture and the new picture. And right now what I'm doing is doing her form sitting. And the funny thing is that I've always done it, any of my drawings, I always start them off in blue. And the reason why I do that is because I've always been taught from my dad, who's also an artist, that when you do that on paper, when you scan it into the computer, the blue does not show. So it's kind of stuck with me over the years. And how I do this is that I lay the foundation first, which is her body. So at the beginning you saw me doing the shapes. The body is formed of shapes, so I do the shapes and I get the positioning right, and then I go into, and I do that usually on the first layer. The first layer is usually the mock-up, so it's usually what I am thinking of. I do the changes and things that I need to do if the positioning is not right, if the proportions aren't correct, if the arm is not angled correctly or it doesn't bend that way. Things like that is what I usually do when it comes to the blue layer. And that is what I usually do in the beginning. And I use Procreate, by the way, on my iPad. And that is what I use as the program to create the pictures that I do. And then I make a second layer. Usually the second layer is where I would put I start to put the details. So I usually change the color to maybe a pink like I have here, or a purple, or a teal, or some other color to start to form the body, the hair, and the accessories. So that is what I'm doing here now for you. I'm going ahead and put that hair there, and go ahead and put in the areas where the body goes. Goodness gracious, where her armor and her outfit will be placed. And I always try my best to make sure that it forms to the body. You don't want it to look like it's coming off the body, but you want it to be form-fitting and curve where it's supposed to curve, and dip where it needs to dip, and have folds where it needs to fold, which can be difficult at times. And that's where a lot of practice comes in, and using references. I use references all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it. Even the best artists in the world use reference. They reference from something, real life, landscape. It's all based off of something, so don't be afraid to do that. And I also break my face in layers. So when I create her face, such as the eyes, the mouth, and where that placement is, I also put it on another layer. I try to keep my artwork in layers because it's just easy to edit and erase things and to change things when things are on separate layers. It's a better workflow for me. And I apologize. As I said before, I actually am recording for the second time because I ended up my dogs ended up being so loud that you could actually hear them through my mic. And so it was kind of tough. And I do live with my mom, my sister, my daughter, 2 dogs, and a cat in my 1-bedroom apartment. And that's another thing I wanted to share with you guys and talk with you guys about while we're sitting here doing this picture together. Before I get into what I wanted to say, I'm starting to go ahead and get into the inking. The inking part can be tedious and time consuming, even though it's awesome because you start to see the pictures start to come together and get cleaner and look good, and you can change the lines and add some hatching and things like that when you start to ink. It can take a while because you want your lines to be crisp and you want them to be right. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going in and I'm going ahead and inking all of her bodies in her area, separating her body from her armor. and making sure I get the folds and I get the pieces right. Make sure the parts of the armor that have edges. Making sure that the shoes that have their folds in the right places, things like that. You want to make sure are correct. And if you want to make changes, definitely go ahead and do that in the layers that you have created beforehand. But I wanted to go over some things that have been not bothering me, but I've been just dealing with and really journaling about, is something that can help you and help me be a great artist and a better artist. And that's having faith in yourself, faith in your artwork, and faith in your dream and what you want to do. And it can be hard sometimes. Like I said, I live in a 1-bedroom with 4 other people, and the reason that is because my parents got a divorce and they ended up moving in with me, and it's a whole thing. But I've been through a lot in my life, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hurt, and a lot of disappointment, and those things can mess with your mind and how you see yourself and the gifts that you have been given and that God has given you to use, or whoever you personally believe. I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, but whoever you believe, you have been given a gift. And I know you're artists like me, and art lovers in general, and anime lovers in general. And I've been just having a hard time with these few things, and I'm going to share them with you. And they're patience, perseverance, having that pit bull type of attitude, having an end goal and a vision, and holding on to my why. And my daughter is my why. I don't know what your why is. I would love to know. Definitely put it in the comments down below. What keeps you going? What keeps you drawing? What keeps you inspired? What keeps you getting up every day to go to that 9 to 5 you don't like, but you come home and sketch until the wee hours of the night because you have a dream and you need to accomplish it? Definitely I want to hear from you. Leave that in the comments box below, and we can have a full dialogue about why you love art and what makes you happy, what makes you tick. This channel is about you guys and helping you guys, again, be the best you, create your best art, and the courage to live your life the way you want to live it and you dream to live it. But I've been having a hard time dealing with patience because, like last time, I talked about, comparing yourself to other artists. And here I was comparing myself to other artists. I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect. And thank God we're not, and we're connected in that way. But realizing that in due time, your gifts will make room for you. And in due time, your gift will make a way for you to live that life that you've always dreamed of. You deserve living, because each and every one of you deserve to live the life that you have always wished of. And also dealing with the persistence. And I've realized doing YouTube now, and like this time, I'll almost it's Wednesday already, and I'm just now getting to record because of my schedule and animals and family. Because I live where I live, there's always noise going on. Someone's always around, and it can be tough. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know I'm on my way. And keeping that persistence and consistency is key in everything that you do and in success, period. It can be so tough. So tough. And as a mom, I have a vision and an end goal. And do you have an end goal? What is your vision? Have you written it down? What is your vision? What do you want? What are you going to do to make that happen? And that's just what I've been dealing with a lot lately, and holding on to my why, seeing my daughter, and seeing her turning 13 this year, knowing that soon she's going to have to go to college, and knowing that soon, I want to travel with her. I want her to see the world. I want her to go see BTS, in concert, and go travel to Korea and Japan and all the places that we want to go to. She deserves that. She deserves that, and as her mom, I want to do that and make that happen for her. So these are just things that I've been dealing with, and I wanted to share them with you and let you know that you're not alone in trying to figure out how you're going to use your gift to do it full time, and that's kind of why I created this channel, because I wanted to document my journey in becoming a full-time professional artist, but not just that, but all my dreams coming true, because I didn't have a blueprint, and I want to give you guys a blueprint on how you can do the same thing, if that makes sense. But going back to Erza, sorry I rambled there, but going back to Erza, I'm now going ahead and put in the skin color, and I futz around it every now and again, because I change the tones and the contrast and the colors that I use, because it just depends on how I want her to look and where the lighting's coming from and things like that. And so usually I use like a peachy color and a tinge of red in the shading color. And sometimes I actually use like purples and things like that too to shade, but it depends on how I was feeling that day, in all honesty, how I'm going to end up doing it. Or I look for a reference to see how, those colors go together, or how that shading looks. And references, don't be afraid to use references. It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. I promise. I do it all the time. It's okay. But now I'm going into the highlights, and usually when I use highlights, I usually use white. Sometimes I use a lighter version of her skin color. Sometimes I do, but most times I use white to give that highlight of where the light is coming from. And I think it looks better, and for most anime, that's what they use. And so I kind of want to keep that anime style look for her. And what I do to remember what colors I use, because sometimes I forget, I put them in a dot in the corner. So if I ever need to pick it back up, I can go ahead and do that. When I go in to add the colors, usually when I shade, I use a soft brush or the airbrush tool very lightly, because I want to give that soft shade. I don't want it to have hard edges. Like in anime, sometimes they have the hard edged shading where you can just see it as a block of color, in certain areas. But for her outfit, I use a deeper blue. As you can see, I used cobalt blue at first, and then I went ahead and made it darker to go ahead and add that soft shading of the deeper blue, and I added some highlight to go ahead and add to see the shininess of her armor or her outfit, because I'm not sure if that's 100% a type of armor, but okay, so now I'm going ahead and adding that white to get the, of course, highlight, so you can see where the sun is coming from and hitting her armor. And I'm going to eventually start getting into the hair. And usually I do flyaways. This time I didn't do any flyaways, and I'm kind of thinking I might have flyaways in her hair now. So the picture that I post is going to have some flyaways. So I'm just going to let you know ahead of time. We're artists. We wing it. We see things after the fact that we want to add and take away, and we do that, and that's okay. But yeah, I'm going ahead and doing her mesh. So how I usually do mesh, I usually, of course, make sure the skin is completely colored in, but I use a dark gray, and I will dull the opacity, and I usually add some type of texture over it so it looks meshy, and I have a little bits of shine of the skin coming through. So that's kind of how I do mesh. I don't know how anybody else does it. Maybe there's a better way. Don't know. Once I find out, I'll tell you. But that's how I do it. So now I'm getting into the shading of her hair. I usually, when I do hair, I use a purple color, a purple hue, and then I use the multiply setting, and it would change it to like a grayish, and it's like the perfect shading color. It's genius. But this time I went ahead and just darkened the red color I already have there, and went ahead and put the shading in for where the shade and the shadow would be. And then I would do a lighter pinkish color to go ahead and put in that highlight. I love Erza, and I noticed that she doesn't have a lot of highlight in her hair except for that slight pink here and there throughout her hair. So I wanted to keep it authentic to that, and keep her looking like her, and in my version and in my way. So that's what I did. And I really enjoyed creating this piece, and it was really awesome, and I really enjoyed it, as you can see. But now I'm getting into the cleanup. I try to clean up as I go, just like I do my dishes. And when I cook, I try to clean as I go, so at the end I don't have to do so much cleanup. But sometimes I get hasty and I get so excited and I forget to go ahead and do that as I go, and I end up having all this stuff to clean up later, which don't do that. Not a good habit. Clean as you go, or clean beforehand, or drag and drop, so it fills the layer you want. So much easier. But as I get into the boots, the boots are shiny. So how I usually signify a shiny look, I usually use a lighter color of that color, or even maybe a different type of hue, maybe like a light purple or light blue, to give it that shine color. I'm even thinking about adding a white now that I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it. So I'm telling you, after you look at things as an artist, sometimes you want to change things up, and again, that's okay. You know, we're here to make mistakes and to change things up, because we're not perfect. We're artists. We go with the flow and we try to make things happen. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy my little rant. I believe in each and every one of you. I love each and every one of you. I believe in each and every one of you. And to be the best artist you can possibly be, have faith in yourself. Have faith in your art. Have faith in your gifts, your purpose. Have faith. Persistence and consistency is key. But other than that, I'll do a more in-depth video soon. I'm sorry I had to kind of put this together pretty quickly. I wanted to make sure that you guys got what I promised I would give you, and make sure I get you a video of my drawings and what I do. And I hope that you drew along and that you got your pencils and pads and things out. I love you. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like my videos, and hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you can know anytime I post a video. And if you have any ideas, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to see, I actually have one person said that they want me to do videos about the female anatomy, and that might be a series because there's so much to do with that, and you can break the body down in tiny chunks, because I don't want to get overwhelmed, and I want to make sure I give you the quality and not just quantity. But leave that down in the comments below. I love you guys so much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have a great evening. Class dismissed. Love you guys again. Talk to you later. Peace.